Aber wir machen uns auf den Weg in eine neue Bucht, die super schön sein muss. Das erste Mal, seit wir jetzt England verlassen haben, zieht Daniel die richtigen Regenhosen an. Nur für alle, die sagen, es regnet immer in Schottland. Und es regnet nicht.
It's wetter than it looks.
Yes, aber es ist nicht Regen, es ist Nieselregen.
Whilst Catherine tries to get rid of the jellyfish tentacles on the anchor chain, the gannets continue their diving for food in the bay. So today the idea is to leave Lamlash, where we've been for the last 4 days, and go up the Firth of Clyde. We're gonna go around, or partly around, of the Isle of Bute, and the arm that we're going up, the fjord that we're going up, is called the West Kyle, to a place called, I don't know whether I spell it correctly, Tinjabroich or whatever, so that's
Tinjabroich.
We'll see.
Tinjabroich. Well, hello there, Team Polaris Helvetica. I believe it will be Tinjabroich, but I could be wrong, of course.
We were learning fast that wind conditions change quickly in Scotland. Islands, headlands and sounds block, funnel and amplify the wind. We were in light winds, had to pull in the first reef, only to resort to the engine and back to normal within a few miles.
I'm aware of the bonds that were created today. When you told me that sure there's a way. The water's so still and my pain is gone.
Arriving at the top of the Kyles of Bute, we had to explore for a suitable anchorage. The chart shows a few anchoring options, but one was too narrow for Polaris, the other one too deep, the third one too rocky, and so we finally dropped the hook in 6 meters of water in a rather dubiously named place called Wreck Bay. We just departed from our anchorage in Wreck Bay, and we're lining up to go through that very narrow channel. Should have about 5 meters of water. It's low water, so not the best timing, but there's enough water to go through for us. There's quite a good stream, about 1.5 knots of stream that are pushing us through it. After Catherine has been attacked by swans whilst doing her morning sport lesson, we have now left the anchorage. We need to run a bit because there is a blow this afternoon coming in. It's up to force 7, so we want to be in Largs Marina by then. It's about a 2.5 hours sail or motoring there. There's not a lot of wind this morning, and I think when it starts blowing that will be the bad weather that's coming in. So we rather hurry and go now. This is the filter of our water maker. It needs a bit of flushing. There's a bit of silt and stuff in, so we just hang it here and flush it through. Hope we can reuse it. We made it into Largs before the winds increased, and we were safely tucked into our berth for the next few days. So today, a rainy day outside, and it's time to change the oil on the engine. We have 130 hours. About every 150 hours we should do that anyway, so I use the time and do it now. I've just inserted the oil sucker, the oil extractor, and I'm now starting to suck out the oil from the engine.
Ich in dieser Zeit editiere ein bisschen an den Videos, was ich super gerne mache. Während es draußen einfach regnen kann oder schlechtes Wetter, wie auch immer. Genieße ein bisschen die Zeit, hier zu sein in Largs. Ich finde, Largs ist sehr, sehr hübsch. Ich freue mich auf die Winterzeit. Es ist nicht ganz so verlassen, wie ich gedacht habe. Von dem her, das wird sicher ein guter, cooler Winter.
So the first portion is out. That's 4.5 liters out of about 10. So I'm just emptying the extractor with the old oil into a bucket, which is gonna go to the oil collector afterwards. That's about half of it. Clear and brown. This is really dark black oil. You can see it over here as well. That's the second one out. So that's about 9 liters that are out. So most of it is out. I just create a little bit more space in here, and then we'll go for the rest. There's probably another 1.5–2 liters in, I think. So now that all the oil has been pumped out, it's time to change the oil filter. That's the new oil filter. That's the old one. This comes off. We have a little oil wrench here. I think that's that way, I believe it goes on. A little bit of oil on it. This is the oil filter, that's the secondary diesel filter, and that's the primary diesel filter. They all need to change. With all the oil out now, it's time to refill it. Remove the cap.
And how much was the oil?
The oil that I bought was about £100, so about 10 quid a litre. And now we're just gonna fill in this. That's 3 liters from the old container from the last time. And then I got 2 new ones. Next step is changing the primary diesel filter. First I switch off the fuel, and then I need to try and to empty the fuel that is in the filter here without making too much of a mess, which is gonna be interesting. Now the diesel starts dripping into the bottle I put underneath.
And how much diesel?
Oh, just about a deciliter, so not a lot. A small amount. Here we are! Ups! So that's one old diesel filter. That's some diesel bog here. This sludge here. So there's a bit of that stuff in, huh? Yes, that one fits. That's the one. Here you go. That was the primary back on. That should be okay. Now you have to take the secondary off, which is this one here. Oh, we bring those. A little bit of diesel to lubricate it. So the next step, last one here, is to bleed the system. So now this line is full of air and we need to get the air out. So I open the bleeding screw here and I open the fuel line, and now it's a question of pumping until we just have diesel without any bubbles coming out here. After a lot of swearing, I found the reason for the bubbles that came out underneath here. There was air leaking in because I was missing an O-ring on this screw here, and with the help of a friend on the phone who told me, well, there might be one, there should be one, I was able to source one to put it on. Then we did the whole bleeding of the engine. That's all fine now. Screws are in, all tight. The oil has been refilled. The filters are fine here as well. So I think we can try to switch on the engine and see whether it works. Down with my sexy knee protectors, which are very good if I do a knee job all the time, so that's fine. It's working.
Cool. Well done.
Time for the next step. It's changing the transmission belt. That's the thing here. I've already loosened the nuts here on the alternator, so I can move it, I could loosen it. And I'm now just wiggling it off. That pulley here. Here we go. That's that one off, and so that's the new one going on. Pull it nicely into the pulley where it should go. And now it's probably a bit of a task here. Maybe I need to give it a little bit more play. All right, here we are. That's that, and then time for testing. I've replaced the transmission belt, and when I run the engine we shouldn't hear a squeaking noise, so it should be nicely tensioned, and I just gonna test that. So this is the old impeller, and we see it's starting cracking just down here at the vanes. It's still in an okay condition. I think it would have taken a few more hours, I think, but as a measure of precaution, I think once I do the oil and here again there's a few cracks here. So these vanes, they are getting brittle and ultimately they break off, and they will then go into the heat exchanger and block the heat exchanger. So that's not nice. That's the first thing. And the second thing is also that the pump doesn't really work, so the engine gets overheated and you get into trouble. So I just change them whenever we do the oil change, about every 150 hours. That's going to be changed to be on the safe side. They're not expensive, and they can cause a lot of trouble. Join us next week when we sail from Largs through the Crinan Canal.